Включив камеру.
Today, Ukraine commemorates the 90th anniversary of the Holodomor. A quote by President Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukrainians went through very terrible things, and despite everything, they retained the ability not to obey and saved their love for freedom. Once, they wanted to destroy us with hunger, now with darkness and cold. We cannot be broken. Our fire will not go out. We will conquer death again. At the same time, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs of Ukraine is urging the international community to recognize the Holodomor as genocide of the Ukrainian people and to help prevent further genocide by Russia. A quote by the ministry. Today, on the 90th anniversary of the Holodomor of 1932 to 1933 in Ukraine, the goal of Russia's genocidal war of aggression is no different from the goal of the genocide of 1932 to 1933, the destruction of the Ukrainian nation and its statehood. Welcome to the news update for day 276 of the war in Ukraine. You are listening to The Account. The evening report of the General Staff of Ukraine states the following. The occupiers are conducting an active defense in the Kupiansk direction. In the Liman direction, the main efforts are concentrated on conducting offensive actions. The enemy is trying to continue offensive operations in the Bakhmut and Pavlivka directions. The training of the newly arrived mobilized servicemen of the armed forces of the Russian Federation continues, including in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine. In the village of Novopetrikivka of the Velikonovosilkivka district of the Donetsk region, it was recorded that tactical exercises and exercises with small arms were conducted with the mobilized occupiers. At the same time, in the period from November 22nd to 23rd of the current year, in the settlement of Staromlinivka, all civilian houses were inhabited by mobilized invaders. In the city of Poloi, located in the temporarily occupied territory of the Zaporizhia region, a place of detention of captured servicemen of the defense forces and civilians detained on charges of cooperation with the security forces of Ukraine was discovered. According to available information, in the temporarily occupied city of Jankoy in Crimea, the occupiers have set up a shooting range on the territory of the Kyiv Regional Landscape Park. The main flashpoints along the front today were Dnipro. Yesterday, Ukrainian forces managed to enter Dnipro, west of Crimea. It is likely that the settlement was liberated as battles continue. Bakhmut. Conditions in Bakhmut continue to worsen due to winter setting in. Videos of soldiers trying to rest in muddy trenches are being shared online, like the one shown here. Igor Lashenkov expressed in an artistic way the harrowing situation. On the left, you can see photos from the First World War, the Third Battle of Ypres, and the Battle of Verdun 1916-1917. On the right side, photos from the defenders of Bakhmut, November 2022. There is practically no difference. Pavlivka. Heavy urban fights continue. Massive casualties are reported. The Tatarigami UA account, who claims to be a Ukrainian military officer in the reserves, stated the following. Do not treat this as an official information. Based on battle reports, intercepted enemy reporting, as well as OSINT and other sources, we estimate that Russia suffered close to 2,000 people as irreversible losses near Pavlivka. When I say irreversible losses, I mean the following categories: killed in action, missing in action, POW, died from wounds in hospital, and released from service as a result of disability. And now a quick update from Marinka in Donetsk Oblast. Although pro-Russian accounts celebrated the advances of Russian soldiers in Marinka over the past days, it seems Russia itself is frustrated with the lack of progress on the front line. Last night, Russian forces heavily shelled Ukrainian positions with incendiary munitions, as you can see here in the video. Nonetheless, it is reported that the Ukrainian defenses hold firm. And now for the intelligence update by the UK Ministry of Defence. Russia is likely removing the nuclear warheads from aging nuclear cruise missiles and firing the unarmed munitions at Ukraine. Open-source imagery shows wreckage of an apparently shot-down AS-15 Kent air-launched cruise missile designed in the 1980s exclusively as a nuclear delivery system. The warhead had probably been substituted for ballast. Although such an inert system will still produce some damage through the missile's kinetic energy and any unspent fuel, it is unlikely to achieve reliable effects against intended targets. Russia almost certainly hopes such missiles will function as decoys and divert Ukrainian air defenses. Whatever Russia's intent, this improvisation highlights the level of depletion in Russia's stock of long-range missiles. Yesterday, the Robert Lansing Institute think tank released a report claiming that the Kremlin is plotting to liquidate Lukashenko and seize control of the Belarusian army. These claims are based on sources within the Russian military leadership. It seems the Kremlin has made a radical decision of dragging Belarus into Russia's war against Ukraine. The report suggests that upon his return from the latest CSTO meeting, Russian President Vladimir Putin instructed the Russian military intelligence to either attempt an assassination on Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko or intimidate him to finally order his troops to directly engage in the war. Today, Kyrylo Tymoshenko, the deputy head of the president's office, reported that the city of Kherson has been reconnected to the power grid. For now, the energy supply is reserved for critical infrastructure of the city. However, household consumers have been promised to be reconnected next. A short video of the moment has been shared.
Ну що, історичний момент, хлопці.
Довго не кричіть, включили і відпускайте.
Зрозумів.
This afternoon, it was reported that the city of Dnipro came under Russian shelling. According to the Dnipro mayor Boris Filatov, city communications and infrastructure were not damaged. Several transformer substations were automatically shut down. According to Valentin Resnichenko, head of Dnipropetrovsk Oblast military administration, 13 people have been injured and 7 private houses were partially destroyed. We also have a video of the destruction.
Шо, пацаны, это вот моя улица, если что. Пизда всему домам. У меня разбило все нахуй, все окна. Просто пизда, блядь. Вон воронка нахуй. Я ебу нахуй.
Russia is expected to lose up to 100,000 conscripts by summer 2023, claims Vashne Istory, an independent Russian investigative reporting media outlet with reference to 2 sources. One of the sources, close to Russia's Federal Security Service, claimed up to 100,000 soldiers might be killed or injured by next spring. But no one is worried about this. They will be replaced by conscripts. This is confirmed by a source close to the General Staff of Russia. Now, the task is to seal and secure the front line. Due to the lack of people, we sometimes had no people at all on the second line of defense. In some places, it was empty at intervals of up to 20 kilometers. Now, these places are being filled with mobilized people. According to the report, the Ministry of Defense plans to train 120,000 conscripts by the spring of next year, who can be sent to Ukraine to make up for the losses among the mobilized. The People's Satellite, purchased by the Serhiy Prytula Foundation, has helped Ukrainian intelligence to discover and track over 2,600 pieces of Russian military equipment. Initially, the money was raised with donations from around the world to buy 3 Bayraktar TB2 UAVs. However, the Baykar company decided to donate them for free. Instead, the money was used to purchase the satellite and access to a database of satellite images for the Ukrainian armed forces. The New York Times published an article claiming that a third of the roughly 350 Western-donated howitzers in Ukraine are out of action and in need of repairs at any given time. Allegedly, after firing thousands of shells at Russian targets every day, the weapons are burning out fast. An effort to provide a repair and maintenance area in Poland began in recent months. The US declined to comment on the situation. Due to being numerically outmatched, Ukrainian crews often fire from extremely long distances to make Russian counterattacks more difficult. This, however, places additional strain on weapons, since a larger propellant charge is required to fire the shells further, which in turn produce more heat and can cause the barrels to wear out quickly. And finally, a heartbreaking report by Francis Farrell from Kherson. The Kherson Fine Arts Museum is in despair after Russian soldiers looted the entire collection. Once home to over 14,000 works of art, one of the richest collections in all of Ukraine, the Imperial Building with its grand halls sits now cold and dark. And that wraps up today's news report. If you want to read about individual topics in more detail, you can find links to the articles in the description. Thank you for listening to the account and have a great day. Slava Ukraini!